There's that TikTok or Reel or whichever one it is out right now that's like, if you were a cartoon character and you could only wear one outfit, what would your signature outfit be? I think we all know what mine would be. The comfy knit dress. When I was making my first capsule wardrobe, I made this dress, and I was instantly in love with it. It is from a pattern, great shock. It is McCalls 7349. This pattern was actually super easy to follow, which is a big plus for me. The whole thing came together quickly and easily, and it is the epitome of my wardrobe staple, the comfy knit dress. However, it has two major issues. One, it's white, which means it's slightly see-through. And I am the level of laziness that cannot be bothered thinking about my undergarments every day. I grab whatever is on top of the pile and move on with my life, y'all. There's no way I'm changing my underwear because I happen to put on a white dress today. The second major issue, it doesn't have pockets. Yes, I know, shame on me. I just completely forgot when I was making it. So I'm gonna fix those two problems while filling my closet with more of this exact same dress. Only not all exactly the same. I am going to use this pattern for every single one of them, but there is some variation in this pattern, mainly the sleeve length and the hem length. There's also like color blocking options, so that's fun. And I might also play around with different types of pockets. I don't know. But basically, I can never have too many comfy knit dresses, and this is one of the best ones I have yet found. So I'm gonna make a bunch of them. How many dresses am I gonna make, and what variations? That has not yet been decided, but it will be determined by my fabric stash. I present the stretchy shelf. So according to this pattern, the amount of fabric needed for my size ranges anywhere from 2 1/4 yards up to 3 5/8. Again, because you can do like the contrasting color blocked sections, I feel like that means nothing. So I'm literally just going to pick out fabrics that I'd like to use and then figure out which version of the dress I can make according to how much of that fabric there is. Winging it! Ooh, okay. This one is really cute. It's just like a yellow gingham, but stretchy. I feel like stripes may not be the best option for this dress because of, one, the princess seams, and two, the raglan sleeves. I think you'd end up with stripes just kind of going everywhere. Random bit of information for your day. The raglan sleeve is named after Lord Raglan, the first Baron Raglan, who is said to have worn a coat of this style of sleeve after the loss of his arm in the Battle of Waterloo. What's the correlation there? I kind of want to look into that more now, but I'm not gonna because I'm focused. I have less usable material than I thought due to the amount of stuff I have that is striped. That's weird. I think it would also be really interesting to try out different weights of knit on this pattern and see if maybe a lighter weight one becomes too like clingy and see-through. So I don't know, we'll try it. Y'all, the stripes though. I gotta calm down with the stripes. I also have this huge chunk of shiny blue, I don't know, lycra. This could make a very interesting version of this dress. Okay, I think what I've learned here today is that I have a lot of striped knit fabric. I'm gonna go measure some fabric and see what I can make out of this. Ow! Why isn't it so heavy? Rather than measure and choose all of my fabrics right away, I decided to go one at a time, starting with my favorite, the yellow gingham. I only have 2 yards of this, which technically isn't even enough for the smallest version of this dress in my size. But that's where the color blocking can come in handy. I can always use this white knit for the sleeves if I can't wrestle what I need out of the original fabric. And wrestle I did. After some intense pattern arranging, I discovered that by shortening the length of the shortest skirt 1.5 inches, which should still hit me right above the knee, not only can I fit all the pattern pieces on my 2 yards of fabric, but I can also fit pockets and widen each skirt piece by 2 inches at the hem for a fuller skirt overall. This is why, in my opinion at least, you should never take a pattern at face value or just believe everything it says. There is much that can be manipulated. I'm doing these front pockets on the side panels for this dress, so the first thing I did was a lot of folding and pinning and snipping to figure out how they should be attached. Sewing them on should have been the easy part, but well, that already seems bad. Oh yeah, should I change the needle? Yeah, I forgot to change to a ballpoint needle, then it was getting stuck. No, why are you doing it again? Then I sewed the pocket on too low. Did I put it on too low? Good times, y'all. Why are you a problem child? It can never be as easy as I want it to be. Of course not. I paused for lunch, and when I came back, it all became much easier. Do better for me this time, please. Got both pockets attached, nice and big. So now I just have to sew it all together. 3 front panels get attached, then the 3 back panels, sew those side seams, and add the little cap sleeves. Y'all, this is going so smoothly. Post pockets at least. I have missed knit so freaking much. The last little bits were just adding the neck binding and hemming the bottom, but I have one last idea. So this is super cute. I love the way it turned out, but I was thinking about this white knit that I was going to use for the sleeves, should I not have enough fabric. It's kind of a mesh almost, like it's really light and see-through and breezy, and I thought, what if I make a ruffle out of this and put it on the hem of this dress so that it looks like there's a little petticoat sticking out from under it. I just think with the gingham and the shorter length and the overall cuteness of it, this would look adorable. I might be wrong, but we're gonna try it. 46 times 2 is 92, and it needs to be gathered. So I think at least double that. Oh my god. It's so slippery. What's 28 times 4? It's more than 100. So I only need 2 of these really. So I cut out about 200 inches of this white meshy knit stuff and sewed it into an extremely long tube. Gathered it up on one side before sewing it to the hem of the dress, and one variation complete. Okay, that took longer than expected, so I'm fully committed to it now. It's not coming back off, but I do think it's pretty cute. That is one done. More to come. Round 2. You know, I love that my complaint about the first original dress is that it's white and see-through, so I promptly found the lightest, most see-through fabric I have to make the second one. Smart. For dress number 2, I'm gonna mix these 2 fabrics, do some color blocking. This pattern is insane, but I figure watering it down with some of a plain purple will make it more wearable. Both of these are significantly thinner knits. They're that really light style, so I'm really interested to see how that affects the finished dress. There is plenty of fabric here though, so I'm going to go for the mid-length and 3/4 length sleeves. Let's do it! I need coffee first. Nothing, I'm not eating anything. Do you know better? Of course he's not spoiled. Are you so spoiled? One thing I love about this dress is how few pattern pieces there are, or I guess how few extra there are. We've got 7 total pieces in the entire thing for all variations of the dress, and no matter which style you're making, you should be using 6 of those 7. That just seems very streamlined and logical to me. I love it. Got everything cut out easily from these 2 fabrics, although I realized one of my sleeves had this writing on it, so I had to cut that out again. All good though, I recycled the first one into a pocket. Now on to the sewing. It took me a bit of brain function to figure out the best method for inserting the side seam pockets because I want them to be as supported as possible in this light knit fabric. In the end, it wasn't too difficult, especially thanks to the unnecessariness of French seams. Huzzah! I sewed the sides of the pockets into the middle princess seams, so hopefully they'll be able to take the weight of a phone without sagging the whole dress. This also altered the entire order of putting the dress together, so I actually did the side seams first, then connected the front panel, then the back. Still ended up with the same thing though, a tube in need of sleeves. How do my hems always end up so uneven? Like, what is that? How did that happen? 'Tis a mystery to me. The 3/4 length made the sewing of the sleeves a little longer of a process, but no more difficult. I'm getting so hungry. After that, it was just the quick neck binding and hem. Alrighty, dress 2 is done, and y'all, the thinner knit is definitely harder to sew on because of how easily it stretches, but oh my god, it is so comfortable. I don't know how I'm going to make myself stop sewing more of these, because I could just wear this all the time, forever. One thing I do need to keep in mind moving forward is that anytime I use color blocking, I need to be really careful about my symmetry and my seam allowances, because this just makes it really obvious if it's not perfectly even on both sides. But the pockets turned out so well. They feel super well supported in there. They're a little bit low, but not too low, and this was good. Best of all, it is only just now lunchtime, so dress number 3 is coming right up. Okay, so dress number 3, I'm gonna do with this light blue, very stretchy. Oh, it's not very stretchy. Oh, it's actually only a 2-way stretch. That's good to note. Anyway, I'm gonna do it with this fabric. It appears that I have a lot of it. I have a feeling it's not quite as much as I think it is, but I'm hoping to get a full-length dress with long sleeves out of it, and possibly some other little tricks here and there, but we'll have to see. There is quite a lot of it. Well, I guess this will answer my question about how this dress handles a 2-way stretch, because that was something I wanted to know. I've got at least 4 yards, if not like 5. This one's gonna be fun. Okay, I think I have to start cutting. This is scary. This one took a hot second to cut out. I want to line the top, both to give it some structure and to avoid using the neck binding for a more formal look. After a whole bunch of arranging and enough snipping to make my hand cramp, I spent another chunk of time poring over how to get a pocket into this dress, cause there has to be a pocket. In the end though, I used as much of this fabric as I possibly could. This dress is gonna be heavy. I didn't have a great thread match for this fabric, so I might have to do a Joanne run tomorrow. But for now, I can at least get started on the lining layer with the closest blue I've got. And immediately the needle hated this fabric. I don't love the way that sounds. Why does it sound like it's punching through leather? It was like punching holes with every single stitch, and it did not look great. We're gonna try a not ballpoint needle. I tried switching to a universal needle instead of a ballpoint, but it really had no difference. Okay, it's not making that noise. Okay, it kind of is making that noise. Finally, I switched back to a ballpoint, but an 80-12 instead of a 90-14, and it looked a little better. Hopefully if I get some more normal thread, because this stuff is kind of thick, it'll be all good tomorrow. And thank goodness I started with the lining, so none of this wonkiness will show. Pausing there until I make a Joanne run. The next morning, I promise it is the next morning, I'm just so sick of winter clothes that I keep wearing the same thing over and over, I popped over to Joanne and got some thread options and a few different needles to try out with this fabric. Kinda worse. It's a lot worse. Still not great. That sounded the best. That definitely looks the best. Let's maybe try a different thread. Ta-da! I think we have a winner. Oh. Finally! After quite a while of testing on a scrap, I finally landed on a regular thread, not the thread labeled for stretch material, and a stretch 7511 needle. The first unproblematic combo I found. With that decided, I got started on what will hopefully be a functioning pocket, assuming my very uninformed calculations are correct. Then it was just a matter of stitching all of the bodice pieces together, starting from the back and working around to the front this time. No small task, because have I mentioned I'm adding gussets? Oh yeah, I'm adding gussets. This thing is gonna be swooshy, y'all. Boom shakalaka. At this point, I also wanted to do any, tailoring of the bodice. I'd like this dress to be, as someone much hipper than me would call it, snatched. Ooh. Oh, this dress is gonna be awesome! However, this is the first time I'm using a two-way stretch instead of a four-way stretch, so I didn't want to risk taking it down a full size. Instead, I'm just going to make adjustments to the seams as necessary, and yes, I am wearing the lining while making those adjustments. I'm way too lazy to keep getting in and out of something. With that done, it was time to figure out these sleeves. Okay. Here we go. I want them to be extra long and fairly tight so they bunch up around the wrist. Normally, I need all of my sleeves to be push-upable, but this isn't a super normal dress, so I'll forgo that. I also had this cool cuff idea that I'm really proud of being able to pattern out, and I'd still like to try it sometime, but ultimately I was really happy with how the sleeves looked and fit without it, so not today. After that, I just had to attach the lining to the outer dress, which included finishing off the pocket in the front. And then I threw like a zigzag stitch around the hem rather than folding it up, because it won't fray and I don't want to lose any more length. And I'm tired of sewing on this dress. We have a dress! Yeah! That was probably so high-pitched, I apologize. You can't see the swoosh because it's all down there, but oh my god, it's swooshy. And it's like really comfortable, and it reminds me of like a kirtle, which I always thought would be a super comfortable dress. And yeah, it is. And I did this weird little front pocket thing, which is weird, but I figured out how to do it, and I'm super proud of myself for that. So, third dress down. I think I'm gonna make one more. Okay, so the danger of giving me a few days to mull over a certain theme, like what can I do with this pattern, is that I come up with way too many options. There are several variations that I've designed that I think are gonna have to go into another video because they kind of have like inner themes of their own that tie them together. But there is one more that I do specifically want to try in this video, in this project, right now. So I am a little torn because I kind of want to use this fabric. This is in fact the fabric that inspired the specific overall look of this last dress. However, this is a really nice fabric, and I can also very much imagine like a two-piece pant and blazer set out of it, should I ever feel like I'm qualified to make such a thing. So I don't think I want to use it for this. But I have at least learned that I can use a two-way stretch on this pattern, and it works out just fine. So instead, I'm thinking maybe this fabric. It's not super interesting, it's not super soft, but it'll definitely work. To spice this fabric up, I thought that I would do some of the accents on this dress out of a different fabric, either this simple ribbed cream knit or cheetah print. I'm leaning towards this because I'm not really an animal print kind of person, but it does look really cute with the pink. We'll see how I feel about it when I get to that part. The first variation I'm doing on this one is some fold-in pockets. Practically a classic for me now. I don't want to cut up this pattern since I expect to be using it quite heavily in the future, so I traced it onto the back of some wrapping paper to add the pocket folds in. I also want to change the sleeve shape to something kind of bishop sleeve reminiscent. I thought about making a new pattern piece for this too, doing all that like slashing and shiz, but yeah, no. I just decided to wing it straight on the fabric. What's new? And finally, after an Instagram poll, I decided on the ribbed cream fabric for the accents, which will be cuffs on the sleeves and an oversized, loose turtleneck sort of collar. After basting the pockets into their folded position, it was back to the basics. Front half, back half, stitched together, sleeves added. To finish this dress, I made some cuffs and a collar, aka 3 tubes, then gathered the ends of the sleeves and stitched the cuffs zigzag style. Sure, why not? No gathering at the neckline, but basically the same thing. Stretch it out, stitch it on, watch your machine go through a complete meltdown. Finally got it done, then I just had to hem the bottom and tra-la! Boom! Hem done, which means dress 4 is done. I didn't try it on, so I don't really know what this is gonna look like. I can assume it fits. They always fit. But I should probably go try it on and check. 1 pattern, 4 dresses. Let's take a look at the final product. This was a rousing success. You know, I think I'm actually not going to do my general grading system, but I will give each dress, shall we call it a superlative? Cutest, comfiest, most dramatic, most experimental. I'd say all of them are kind of an 8 out of 10 or higher. You know, they all fit, they're all comfortable, some more than others, but all pretty comfortable. And they're all cute. I do think what I'm most proud of with these 4 dresses is that all 4 of them have a different style of pocket. That was a fun exploration. Pockets are one of those things that since I'm putting them into pretty much everything I'm making, I'd love to get more creative with them moving forward, instead of just always doing side seam pockets. All 4 of them do have little construction things that I would change or should note for later. The pockets I think should be lower. The pockets should be higher. The right sleeve is slightly tighter than the left sleeve and therefore slightly too tight. I should go back and loosen it slightly because when I put it on I have to sit here and be like, to get it to lay straight. To make those sleeves look better, I should have made them actually longer. I forgot to calculate in the fact that they do this rather than this if that makes sense. So I should have done them an inch or two longer so that they would bell around the elbow more comfortably. Right now, when I move around, they're trying to kind of pull the cuff up to my elbow so that they have that space. I mean, we all know I am not a huge fan of patterns. I try to avoid using patterns as much as possible, so it's kind of weird that I've latched onto this one and love it so much. But, you know, besides all the reasons that I have said so far in this video, I think I also really like this pattern because it requires nothing of you except the fabric and the thread and your time. There's no zippers, no buttons, no hook and eyes, no bias tape. So that just means to me that I could wake up in the morning, want to make a dress, and pull a piece of fabric and this pattern out of my stash and have a dress by dinner or even lunch, because let's be real, these were fast to sew. And that to me is a really good pattern. Yay, dresses! I have been thinking lately about what my go-to historical time period for everyday clothing would be. Like, the dress historians and costume makers and cosplayers and vintage lovers of YouTube and Instagram fame, they tend to all have like their one signature time period, no matter how much they explore other stuff. And I'm so fascinated with historical dress design. It's something that I really want to start exploring more moving forward. But yeah, I'm not the kind of person who could wear an 1890s day dress around the house on an average day, no matter how much I love that silhouette and style. But you know what I could do? Kirtles! Translated into modern times and stretchy materials, winning! And I am so hungry now. I feel like that's what I say at the end of every video, but yeah, I'm really bad about remembering to eat before I start filming. Later, taters! Hello, Trotty Paws. You're my favorite little tushy. But can you take your tushy somewhere else? Ah! Ooh, there's a bug on the floor. It's Wednesday, Wednesday. Y'all, the planes that go over. Alright, I'm dropping everything now, which means I should probably be done soon. You know what? It technically works.